friends, welcome back to Fridays with Faye. Good Friday has been on my heart. It is amazing to me that we call it Good Friday, because if you had been there in that moment, it would have looked anything but good. It looked like heartbreak. It looked like loss. It looked like silence from heaven. It looked like all hope had been buried with a stone. The disciples stood in the middle of what felt like the worst day imaginable. The one they loved was crucified. The prayers they thought would be answered one way were unfolding in another they could not see. Everything about Friday felt heavy. And yet, what they could not see was that God was still working in the dark. And that speaks so deeply to my heart right now as I think about Bradley. There's a unique ache in loving someone and knowing the truth has already been planted inside them. You know what they were taught. You know what they have seen God do. You know that they have experienced His love before, and still, there are seasons where all you can do is stand in the waiting and trust God with what only He can do. It brings me straight to the story of the prodigal son in Luke 15. The father waited every day with hope. He never stopped believing, and he never quit looking down the road. The son may have wandered, but he never forgot where home was. This is the hope I keep holding on to with Bradley. He knows where home is. He knows the truth he was raised in. He knows the peace that only comes from walking with God. So like that father, I keep watching, praying, and trusting that one day he will remember what he has always known and turn back toward grace. What encourages me most is that Good Friday teaches us not to judge the story by Friday alone. Friday looked broken. Silence filled Saturday. But Sunday was already on God's calendar. Those 3 days changed everything. The cross that looked like defeat became victory. The grave that looked final became proof that death never gets the last word. The silence of Saturday became the setup for resurrection morning. This is what waiting on God often feels like. Sometimes we're living in the Friday. Sometimes we're surviving the Saturday. And sometimes all we can do is trust that God is still moving behind the scenes. And maybe that's where some of us are today, waiting for healing, waiting for a breakthrough, waiting for a prodigal, waiting for the one we love to come back to what they know. The verse that echoes in my heart is Psalm 30, verse 5. For His anger is but for a moment. His favor is for life. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. That, my friends, is the promise of Good Friday. The night may feel long. The tears may be real. The waiting may stretch longer than we want, but morning is still coming. For Bradley, for the prodigals we love, for the prayers we've cried over for years, for every Friday season that feels too heavy. Because God's timing is never random. He is never late. He is never absent in the silence. If Friday taught us anything, it is this. What looks like the worst moment may actually be the beginning of redemption. So I will keep trusting His timing. I will keep praying for the return. And I will keep believing that the same God who rolled away the stone still knows how to bring people back home. And here's the truth I'm clinging to. Just because it feels like Friday doesn't mean resurrection is not already on the way. The stone may be in place today, but God has already planned the morning it rolls away. Hold on, friends. Keep praying. Keep watching the road, because Sunday is coming. Be blessed. Happy Easter, and thank you so much for joining me.